Hello. Hello and welcome to this video. As you remember that in last video we studied topic constructor. So in this video I wanted to talk about assignment operator so that we can do the move assignment operator and move constructors. But to study the assignment operator we have to go through operator overloading. Now what is operator overloading? Operator overloading is a mechanism by which you can give operators a meaning. For example, suppose there is a class number and it can have any number of parameters, and you want to do operations like a plus b, a minus b, and so on. You can see there are several operators involved. Now, if you want operators to operate on non-primitive classes, or rather non-primitive data types, like these operators work well with, for example, integers, characters, floats. Some operators also work on strings and so on. So if you want these operators to work on non-primitive data types, then you have to overload the operators. What I mean by overloading the operators is, consider you want to subtract, okay? And you see this number operator minus, if you define this function for your class, then it will allow you to subtract the two operands, A and B. And this is the definition which you have of the function. This is what will happen. Now, some programming languages do not give the feature of operator overloading. For example, Java. James Gosling has famously said that all programmers do not do operator overloading properly and the misuse and all that. But I think that is a narrow point of view. The freedom should be always with programmer. Language should not restrict it. The restriction can be on project level. Your project lead can decide whether they want to use operator overloading or not. Now the question is, what is the major uses of operator overloading? So the most important aspect of operator overloading is that it makes the code elegant. Consider you have a function subtract which subtracts a and b, which has the same definition as this function, okay? And you will invoke that function here, subtract a comma b within parentheses. So it will do the same work, but it does not look well. So it is not elegant. The second use is the elegance actually shines when you do generic programming. For example, consider a template overloaded operator minus, okay? Now, once your generic class is generic function is defined, you can invoke the generic method for all types of classes. You have to remember that the basic operation will always happen on the primitive type. A minus B does not mean you are subtracting two classes. That's not the meaning of it. The meaning is customized. The actual operation will always happen on something like integers or floats or characters or strings. Okay? Strings become confusing a bit when Unicode comes in picture. But the actual operation, if you see inside the member function, then that happens on value, that is integer. So whenever you will have a generic overloaded operator overloaded method in a generic type, the actual operation will always happen on some primitive data type. Okay? Those primitive data types are already said: integers, floats, characters, and strings. Now, because of that, the code will be shorter. It will appear far more natural. So these are the advantages of operator overloading. Now let's see how we can invoke this. Okay. So for example, a minus b means a dot operator plus, and you supply b. Yes. Okay, that is the meaning of that. Sorry, this should be taught. A dot operator plus B. That is the meaning of, minus. This should be minus. Okay, that is the entire meaning of that operator call. So that is handled by you for the compiler. So you simply say A minus B. So as you see, one is the object on which it will be invoked, and second will be the object on which is the argument. Okay, so that is for binary type. So for example, plus the right operand will come as other. Okay, and you do value and other dot value, and then you return the number. Then you have minus, you do value minus other dot value, you return minus. Similarly, you have multiplication and division, you have unary negation. So for example, there is a difference for prefix and postfix operation. Okay, prefix takes no argument because there is only one operand on which it is invoked, and that is why you return a reference, because that itself has to be increased. So you increase the value and return with this pointer. In case of postfix plus plus, you take a dummy argument, okay, and you assign temp is equal to this, increase the value and return temp. Similarly, you could do prefix minus minus and postfix minus minus, but that would be similar, so I have left it. Then you have comparison operators, not equal to, less than, greater than. So these are defined here. Now we come to the assignment operator, for which we have done this entire exercise. So the assignment operator returns a reference, takes a constant reference, and it checks whether this is not equal to other, whether the left and right hand side both are same or not. If both are same, there is no point doing anything. Okay? So it assigns value to the other value, that is the value of the right hand side to the left hand side. So this is a custom function. Now the like copy constructor, if you have something like int star p, which is a value on heap, then you will have to do extra work here to copy the value to okay, so value has to be copied to the other. Okay, so you will have to allocate the memory for this. So first, if they have to say if not p, assignment operator, right? So in assignment operator, the operator already exists. The object on the left hand side already exists. So first you would want to delete p, right? Then you would say p is equal to new and whatever value you have got in other dot p. Okay, like this. You have to create a variable like this, and then your assignment operator is done. So that is the extra care you have to take when you are overloading assignment operator. And whenever there is dynamic data in your class, you have to implement your own copy constructor and assignment operator. And same is true for move constructor and move assignment operator as well. Then we have subscripting here, which I'm not sure if you have used. Subscripting is here. So this is array-like operator overloading. You can do whatever you want. So if index is not 0, we return simply value. Then we have function call operator, which does a multiplication. Then we have less than and greater than operator. This will help us what you call take keyboard input and print on the standard output the value of the class. So it is a bit advanced. So once we have discussed the friend keyword and the OStream stuff and iStream, we can come back to this. For now, we can assume that this is to print this. Okay, this one is not used. Cin I don't see is used in the example, but that is to take keyboard input for the class. Okay, whatever number you enter, it will directly go to the value. And as you can see, it is outputting value. So it will print the value of that. All right. So we have seen this. So for example, 10 plus 5 plus 15 will be 30. 10 minus 5 will be 5. 10 multiplied by 5 will be 50, and so on. 10 by 5 will be 2. So let's compile this program, see the output, and we can end this video. Okay. So G++ minus 12 minus W error minus std is equal to C++ 26 minus pedantic, and we have O.6p. So W errors spelling mistake. So and then we simply run this, and there we go. We have our output. So this should more or less cover everything you need for operator overloading. Most of the code has been given here, which you can type it out, and you can overload your operators in future when you need them. So remember the why part of operator overloading. Why do we need operator overloading? The simple answer is it makes code elegant, and generic code really, really elegant. You don't have to do the function nonsense if you do operator overloading. And James Gosling is wrong about operator overloading. I'm convinced on that. There is no way anyone can convince that a language should not have operator overloading just because programmers are not good enough. That is a lame argument. That is the worst possible argument one can give about a programming language feature. So with this, I will come to the end of this video. And in the next video, we will look at R values, move constructor, and all the move operators of a default of a class. So with this, let's end this video. And after 4 days, the next video on C++ will come, and we will do all sorts of things over there. So thanks a lot for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one. Enjoy.